Wombat wants to talk about the structure of Gray's contract, which allows more money to be spent in free agency.
Ooh.
Or take on more salary in a trade.
Or not spend as much.
Possibly Glasnow.
Or not spend as much.
Man, that $35 million in 2026 when he's 36 years old.
When I asked Mo,
Ew.
when I said Mo, yeah, you got your starting rotation. Average age 35. Is that going to be enough? Do you look at? And he was like, "See, I mean, you think about depth, which they always talk about, especially as you get closer to spring training."
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, it's up to some of the younger guys to step up." Yeah, you think there might be maybe room to make a move there.
We shall see. Tyler Glasnow.
Any big words?
$25 million.
No.
Prudent or anything like that he used? I think
you're talking about Mo?
Yeah, he said something and people were chirping him a little bit.
Arbitrage.
Yeah, that's what
Raymer gets him and he uses it kind of frequently because Raymer brings it up kind of
the
frequently.
Ram Dog did?
Kind of. That's like his favorite word.
Arbitrage.
It's a great word. It's like it's a financial word for buying and selling stocks
I didn't
usually
understand it.
at the same time.
What's Rammer saying?
He doesn't like the up-talking and the condescension a little bit with the big words, trying to
little bit.
show Cardinals fans that I know what I'm doing. Listen to my words.
A little bit.
So what if he's helping us learn, though? To be fair,
right.
I like learning new words.
Hold on. About 10 years ago,
I like words.
I had never heard the term arbitrage until John Mozeliak said it, and then I go look it up, and I feel like I learned something.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with that?
I like new words. I write them down every time I hear them.
Like what? In your notes section?
Well, not necessarily new words, just words that I don't use that I'm like, I got to find a way to work that in.
So give us an example.
Like Mike Tyson did when he got out of jail?
Destitute.
Destitute.
I don't know what that
It's
means.
not really a big word.
Yeah.
Destitute means broke. You got no money. You lack funds.
Pragmatic.
Pragmatic means that you're someone who finds a sensible solution. You look at things and are able to come up with a sensible solution.
It's like me.
Yeah.
Like Charlie.
Like Charlie.
I think I got this from you. Doom scrolling.
Ooh, I like that, Jimmy.
No, I brought that into the fold.
Of course.
Yeah, that was
Okay,
not
Charlie,
me. That
sorry.
was not me.
I got
I'm the one that said it.
swashbuckle.
That means you're a heroic pirate figure. Heroic, though.
Coronation.
Dashing.
Flummoxed.
Flummox means you're back on your heels.
Circumglobal.
Don't know what that is.
Circumcision.
Oh, I know what that is.
Do know what that is.
Cavalcade.
Personally.
Rabble rouser.
Yeah.
Vigilante.
I don't know what a vigilante.
Ravenous.
We get it.
Yeah, okay. keep going. Keep going.
I like words.
Carte blanche.
I like words.
Let's get a thesaurus, man.
Eclectic.
Well, how's that text line? Like, is it easy to do? Like,
No,
are
I gotta
people
go.
texting
I
in?
gotta go
Like-
one by one. It doesn't all stack up on top of each other. So Gino Ojic from Bebo Mill. I just clicked on him. Let's see what he's got. Sounds like a cover up to me. Took too long to squash it. I think he's talking about the Blackhawks situation.
Oh, yeah.
Cole, having Cam chirp you about reading maybe the low point of your career. Thank you. Okay,
Get on with yourself,
I'm
Gino.
not reading Gino's texts anymore.
No, you can't be.
Now here's the
You
problem.
can't be sensitive. He chirps me all the damn time. I still read his stuff. Don't be sensitive.
I was being
He's suspended
sarcastic.
now. Gino's suspended for the next 12 minutes.
Here's the problem, though. On this app, we have far fewer contacts put in, so these could be regular texters who just have 314s and 636s. I don't know. Out of the Exchange Kirkwood text line, by the way. A 636 number. If you don't disavow Corey Perry right now, I'm telling Jeff Jones,
Poor Jeff.
you lose all moral high ground forever once you rob a bank. Them's the rule. Okay, so a lot of people want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Poor Jeff.
How about this?
He is a nice guy.
Jimmy. Like
and he
that's-
also, you know what? He does a good job covering the Cardinals.
He works his ass off, man.
But Jeff also, and I like Jeff, but he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So he's
ain't
the one that
afraid.
crafted the tweet. He's an adult.
I know.
He's allowed to have his opinion.
This is from
I just feel when I jump in and he's probably like, I don't know. I just don't want to be a bully. That's all.
This one is from Thrasher,
He didn't say anything mean to me.
which apparently is my nickname because apparently I texted the text line. Cole, great job filling in for Cam yesterday. I thought you did an awesome job. Keep up the good work, and you'll have Cam's chair before you know it.
Son of a biatch.
Thank you, Thrasher.
Suspend him.
Thrasher, you're in the penalty box.
Yeah, it's not like Jeff Jones tweeted at me and then we had a private conversation and he tweeted the private conversation on Twitter.
Who did that?
Our boy. I chirped him on the podcast.
Who's that?
Tim Peel.
Oh, and and he put one that you guys had?
Oh, hell no. He did it to the rider up in Canada.
Edmonton?
Yeah, I think his name's Spector, something. Not Phil, but Mark Spector.
Arlen Spector.
Mark Spector.
All-knowing
We
expert.
chirped him on the podcast a little bit because Andy asked me, and I'm like, dude, I'd be livid. You know, you don't need to do that.
Isn't he very smartly driving up attention for this podcast
Of course.
with Jeremy Roner?
That has nothing to do with it.
He's a marketer.
Yeah, Jimmy. Yeah.
I love the fact that Peelsy likes to be controversial.
Yeah, I know.
There's
It's
a lot of
interesting.
people that are afraid to say anything. And okay, if Peelsy every once in a while steps in a little bit, but that's kind of part of the media business. I love the fact that he's not afraid to have strong opinions and put them out there.
Yeah, I know. But Andy asked me about that particular moment, and I said I'd probably call Twister. You know, if you aired our dirty laundry via text instead of Twitter, on Twitter, I'd lose my mind. You know what I mean? Like, whoa, dude. That's what 13-year-old girls do.
So you're calling Twister for a hit, to put a hit on him?
Yeah.
I've done that, like, I've said controversial things. I said the other day that Miles Michaelis could have been better last season.
Oh, man.
I said it.
I don't think he could,
I said
though.
it.
He was pretty much perfect.
They all were. They all were, man.
Don't forget to keep it in the back of your head to come up with a grievance. By the way, all-knowing expert says, Kat, would you be willing to trade Wynn for Logan Gilbert?
No.
Really?
I love Logan Gilbert. I like that guy. He's got a huge upside. He's controlled. He's young. I think he's perfect. But I think Mason Wynn is going to be a perennial all-star. I really do.
How old's Gilbert?
26?
Really? So
mid-20s?
that's a hard no?
Look him up because
That's a hard no for you, Jimmy?
I don't. There's 4 guys that I'm not touching. Okay, and I understand when I say the 4. There's 2 guys that I understand people want to deal because they think long term it would help. I'm concerned about short term, next year, the year after. It'd be Nolan Arenado not going anywhere. If I were GM, Goldschmidt not going anywhere. So I have those guys at the corner for next year, right? At the corners for next year. Then Wynn and Walker, I don't touch because I think that's your long-term security. I think those guys are going to be studs every single year.
And then, like, is Gorman, like, the next one probably?
He's not in that basket,
but he's like,
but he's in
in the fourth
basket
bucket.
right.
Yeah.
The bucket right next to it.
Yes.
because they're calling for him probably.
The thing that concerns me about him is he's a young guy with ongoing back issues. But I think I could live with him at second base. He's got a really good arm there. I think he'll get better. And I think he's already shown he can crush baseballs.
Lefty.
I kind of like that.
Lefty
But
with pop.
so then you have, all right, well, that could be a spot where Tommy could play. That could be a spot where Donovan can play. So you have redundant pieces, and now you have extra money in your budget for this year because you're only giving Sonny 10. So now you have pieces and money to find a way to go get another frontline starter.
Logan Gilbert will be 27 this season, and
So
Kevin
he was 26.
Kevin at the Lake is excited for the Bragging Rights basketball tickets to go on sale today at 10 a.m. That's going to be Mizzou in Illinois, and that is going to be December 22nd. That's a Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Charlie.
There you
We'll break
go.
it down
Yeah, Charlie.
in the 8 o'clock hour.
Yeah. My God, Cat is so Looney Tunes. Mason Wynn is not going to be good. That is from a 586 number, an area code that I'm not familiar with.
Okay.
How do they know that?
Okay.
I don't know.
Looney Tunes.
I do think that's an interesting question, though, because Logan Gilbert, you'd get 4 years of control, and he's already a guy who's established as a top-end guy. I love Mason Wynn, but not all these prospects do end up working out. I think he will, but I think that's a very interesting trade proposal because shortstops like Mason Wynn do not grow on trees, but neither do aces.
I agree. Like I didn't think it's it's actually interesting because there's a lot to it. There's room for agreement on both sides. I just look at Mason Wynn, and he does things better naturally than other shortstops that I've seen. He flies. He fields. He's aggressive. The hitting will come. He's hit at every level. He's gotten off the slow starts at every level, then got going.
his groove.
And he's also like really mature for his age. I think he is going to be a stud. Here's the other thing too, because he could go like Ohtani And next thing you know, he's playing short, then he's closing out your games. No, he was a stud pitcher. I mean, his stuff was crazy, but he's so good at shortstop that that's where they pushed him to go for his direction with the Cardinal organization. I think he's going to be great. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would say no to that deal.
How old is he?
It's a good proposal.
How old's Wynn?
23.
Was he the 20 draft, the COVID draft?
Going on 22.
22.
22 years old, baby.
We have somebody else who is not happy about it. Well, first of all, he has a callback to yesterday's show. Cole, if you're seriously sending out resumes to other stations, let me know. I'm good at proofreading. Yeah, that's a special skill. Good for you. But he also says, good fielders that bat 160 are easier to find than pitchers like Gilbert. Are you serious, Hayes? Win is Brendan Ryan. Sans the porno stash. Jesus.
Jesus.
How many at-bats did Wynn get this year?
I have his... First of all, he bat 172.
A lot of guys struggle their first year. Look at what Mike Trout did his first year in the bigs.
What do you do?
122.
What do you do?
Mike Trout, didn't he bat in the hundreds?
Please.
I don't know.
It was very bad. I can't remember.
Are you kidding me? And plus, like I said, Wynn had struggled at the beginning, like when he was at AA, AAA. That guy is going to get it. So, and yes, it's crazy for me to say I would turn down.
It's Looney Tunes.
And you've heard me bring up Logan Gilbert since day one. That's the guy who I want. That's the guy who I think would be the perfect fit for this rotation. But I'm not touching those 4 players.
220, Mike Trout batted his first season when he played 40 games.
How many
Here's a hot
ding-dongs?
take. What's that?
How many ding-dongs?
How many ding-dongs? 40 games. He hit 5 bombs.
Okay.
He just played about a fourth this season. Here's a hot take for you. And I'm being serious.
Is this a grievance?
No. Should
we
I
have
have a
to do
grievance? I can turn it into a grievance by just, I guess, saying it differently.
All right, kick us off. What's your grievance? Say it a little bit
My
differently.
grievance is that people think you should trade Mason Wynn for Logan Gilbert. I would rather trade Paul Goldschmidt for Logan Gilbert. And I'm
Thank
being serious.
you.
Only because he's older and more expensive. And he plays a position first base, which is very easy to replace. A young shortstop that can run, throw, and hit. Those guys are unicorns.
2 things.
And I'm being serious when I say that.
2 things.
Would the Mariners take that?
I'm just saying, hypothetically, I would rather trade an older, expensive guy. I love Goldie. Goldie probably has, let's be real, a season or 2 left of really strong production, whereas Mason Wynn hopefully has a decade.
2 things. That's not a grievance.
It's
and
not.
number
I
2,
said it in a grievancy way.
Well, now that's a grievance that he didn't give a proper
there we
grievance.
go.
Number
Now
2,
we're all airing
as
grievances.
much as I love Goldie and he's on my untouchable list, I would agree with that. But if I were the other team, I'm not making that deal.
But you want to win right now? What if Goldie had an extension?
But what if?
You get him for 3 years?
Don't
of
get
Goldie.
me wrong. I want him on this team. I want those 2 guys at the corners. But what if you have a starting pitcher who's a reasonably priced starting pitcher you could throw into the mix, and then you give him
Burleson.
Donovan or a Newt? There are guys, I don't want to see either one of those guys go. But you have, aside from the 4 that I mentioned, you have pieces that could bring something in return of value. But you're not going to like it because no one wants to see Donovan go. No one wants to see Edmund go. No one wants to see Newt go.
I think most Cardinal fans are fine with seeing either Edmund or Donovan go. I don't think they trade Newt. And also, how do we get all the great Japanese stars without Newt?
Yeah. He's our last line of defense.
By moving the Cardinals to either the East Coast or the West Coast.
I think
Exactly right, Cole.
I think this is interesting, though. Like with a guy like Gorman,
Or Nashville.
who
Yes.
is a monster. Would you trade? Would you be more reluctant to trade Gorman than Wynn?
Oh, for me, see, I still look at Gorman as a corner guy who is now trying to play second base, which is fine. But the only reason he's playing second is because he's blocked by the St. Louis Cardinals. I see Nolan Gorman long term as still a third baseman, a first baseman. Honestly, I would throw him in the corner outfield. I really would.
For what purpose?
I think he's less of a liability long term as a corner outfielder. He's athletic. If you can play second base, you're athletic enough to play right field, left field.
But let me ask you this: if someone came to make a trade and suddenly you replace Mo because your YouTube channel got really popular and the Cards are like, let's make him the GM.
We're having a good month.
Would you?
Pobo.
Would you who would you be willing to trade? Would it had to be one of the two? Would it be Gorman or Wynn?
I would trade Gorman.
All right.
And
I
here's
agree.
the other thing. We've talked about this with Gorman and Walker, and this is part of the reason I am more okay with trading one of Goldie or Arenado is because even though they're great, they're Hall of Famers, but they're in their 30s, they're expensive, and you have studs in your organization in Walker and Gorman who play or can play both of those positions.
I get it. But now we could have them all, except maybe we didn't get Logan Gilbert, who I wanted.